what you're gonna have an opportunity to scan a QR code and get the scripts and everything else. And by the way, these are all stolen from Bill Pipes. I asked him, I said, can I steal these and rip them off and duplicate them and put them into presentations? And here's what he said. Dude, yes, right? So he goes, if you got the presentation, you share it with whoever you want. It doesn't say Bill Pipes on there. So I just thought this would be great value. And I did it in a little smaller meeting yesterday, and there's a lot of tremendous value on it. So I'm going to share my screen, and we're going to dig into these. And you can have access to all of these if you choose to. Okay, you'll get the QR code, download it, and there's a lot of great material in this download. So let me go ahead and share my screen and get started with you for you guys. So 8 traits of 7-figure earners is the topic for today. Now, guys, here's the thing. Do not have a limited mindset that you cannot be a 7-figure earner. Now, if you strive to be a 7-figure earner and you only make 500,000, are you a loser? Heck no. Heck no. These are just the traits of the high figure earners. Okay. So really like to dig into these for you to start saying, oh, I can adapt to that level. I can do that level. I can do that one. So a high level of competitiveness and desire to win. You look at a lot of professional athletes, they have a desire to win. They're not playing to lose, they're playing to win. They're playing to win. Are you playing to win every single day? Or are you setting yourself up for failure by continuously doing the same things that you're doing that's not helping you achieve what you want to achieve? Are you looking for excuses to not do the things that you need to do because you're looking for other things to do because you don't want to do those things? I was watching the roast of Tom Brady last night, and I actually shut it off. I just couldn't stand all honestly, I'm not a prude, but there was so much foul language. I'm like, I can't. I just don't feel comfortable even watching this. I'm trying to get through it. But here's what Kevin Hart said through the first few minutes, and I thought was intriguing, and I really liked it. He said, "Everyone in the crowd, you're gonna have to start getting comfortable with being uncomfortable." Now, those words that he said there, I started overlooking a lot of the other language and all the other derogatory stuff, and I'm like, wow, that makes sense, right? We have to we have to be uncomfortable to get comfortable. And anything that we're doing or any presentation we're in, look for the content that's going to help you thrive. So, some of the things that Bill had talked about was a high level of competitiveness and the desire to win. You got to make sure you're playing to win. What do you want? You got to think about your wants and your whys. What do you want? And why do you want it? Why is my goal an absolute must? Why is it a must? And, we talk about sacrifices. What are you sacrificing for the goal that you desire? Are you sacrificing possibly time with your family? I was talking about this yesterday with sacrifice when I went into a leadership role in 2013 and started that role for several years after that. I missed every Valentine's Day and every birthday from my wife for 8 years straight. I had to make a sacrifice and go to those events on those, and they fell into those times. But it's a day we can celebrate another day. It was a sacrifice for our financial goals. What are you sacrificing to achieve your goal? And are you informing your loved ones of those sacrifices if it's your loved ones involved? Is it your time? What is it? So there we go. Obsessed is only a word that the lazy use to describe the dedicated. This is so true. When you start becoming to the success that you desire, you're going to have so many people have something negative to say. It's just part of it. It's just part of it. You're going to have haters. You're going to have people that want to put you down. You're going to get those ones that are not dedicated to insult you to make themselves feel better. Obsessed is only a word that the lazy use to describe the dedicated. That red on red there is, and if you ever heard the story, if you ever watched some of the documentary on Arnold, when he came over to the US and he went to Muscle Beach and just started working out, that's where he started getting noticed. But he was so dedicated to his training. He was so dedicated, and it was a number one priority. And that number one priority that he wanted to he was obsessed with was becoming the best version of himself physically, created all the opportunities that he got in life with movies. He was not the best actor. Come on. He's not. But what he was good at was he was obsessed with taking care of himself, and it attracted the thoughts in the eyes of the consumer. So, and here you go. Is Steve Jobs. Embrace the startup, sacrifice mentally. You will work a lot of hours. You're going to work a lot of hours. You're going to work a lot of hours. You will be misunderstood. People are going to go, yeah, I just don't get it. People will criticize your commitment because they're not so committed themselves. You must commit yourself to something and don't allow the other poison to get in the way. People will criticize your commitment. You'll be judged. You'll feel lonely. Some days, man, it's complacency and loneliness is can get in the way. You will forego the myth of life balance. You will fail just as much as you succeed. You'll want to quit. When you want to quit, nobody says it best than the power of one more when Ed Mylett says this in a podcast. He said, I called my dad from the very beginning that I started my career and said, Dad, I don't want to do this anymore. It's hard. I want to quit. He said, son, I understand. If you want to quit, just work one more day and then make that decision tomorrow. One day at a time. See, his dad had the mindset of the one day at a time because of his sobriety. And that one comment changed Ed Mylett's life. I know you want to quit. Just do it one more day. I know you want to quit your calls today. Just make one more. So, are you committed? Do you want to quit? Make sure you do that one more day, because that one more call, that one more rep, that one more text of gratitude, that one more call, whatever it is. They have developed world-class skills. They continuously build their skill set. Skill will control the narrative. The narrative for myself, the narrative for my clients. The more skilled you are, the more confident you are, the more skilled you are, nobody's stopping you. If you don't build your skill set, when you go into an appointment, you go in with a doubt, you go in with fear, you go in with lack of confidence. Build your skill set. And the way to build your skill set is to fail, but do it. Continuously do it. And that is mastering the scripts. Guys, sorry. You know what? Some of the most successful, actually all the successful actors and actresses out there had to read scripts. They became the person in the script because they practiced it, and they practice. So if you want to earn income like a pro, you got to do the work like a pro. Master your scripts. Master those scripts. They maintain unwavering standards. Do you have high standards to tell people, listen, you're not getting in my way? By the way, no is okay. Hey, can you come and list my property tomorrow morning at 10 a.m.? You know what? I'd love to come and list your property. Can we do it at 1, 3, or 5 instead of 9 a.m.? Because your lead generation should be your priority. What are your standards? See, you're saying yes to a great listing. I get it. But that listing is one sale. You're saying no to the possible phone calls and the connections you're going to make either with your sphere of influence, for sale by owners, expireds, whatever it may be, for that one opportunity. and you're saying no to several other opportunities. So what are your standards? What are your standards for yourself? What are your standards for your business? What is your standard for your health? The three key standards is your time, your mind, and your energy. Are you time blocking for your business? Are you time blocking for your personal well-being, spiritual being, your energy? How are you keeping your energy to the level that it needs to be? Are you being consumed with the negativity in the world or in your area? You know, sometimes we just life hits us and it's there, right? We got loved ones, we got family, we got friends that are, you know, pouring poison of negativity around us, that we have to go, hold on, let me make sure that I don't get involved in that or engaged in that, because it's going to take away from everything that I need to do to build what I'm building. There's been massive commitments by some of the most successful people to tell people, no, I'm committed to my time. I'm committed to the energy and the time to get to where I want to go. So that, you know, everyone has 1,440 minutes in a day, you know, from the book, The One Thing, it really talks about it. And this is where it's okay to say no. Why does Matt accomplish more than I do? We all have the same amount of time in a day. He utilizes his time more purposefully. I'm using that as an example. There should be no excuse to say, well, Matt's more successful than I am because blah, blah, blah. No, he's got the same amount of time in a day. How are you utilizing that time to become the best version of yourself? Why are we wasting it? We all waste so much time, including myself. Every battle's won before it's fought. Every battle's won before it's fought. You know, professional fighters, they're training their butts off before they go in and win that fight. Professional athletes, they're training like crazy and they're practicing like crazy before they get into that game. And they go in and they're going in to win. So why are you practicing on the battlefield versus preparing to be on the battlefield? Practice your scripts, build your skill set. The best businesses are prospecting based and marketing enhanced, and so many people are going, I'm just going to spend a crap load of money on marketing because I don't want to prospect. Well, you know, your ROI is going to be very little on that. Prospecting doesn't just mean call for sale by owners and expireds. Prospecting means call your database, call your friends, call your family. You don't have to just ask for business. Do a care call, do a service call. Hey, Matt, this is Tom. Listen, I haven't spoken to you in a while. Listen, what do you think about this NAR lawsuit? What are you hearing? Are you interested in buying or selling during this time of this suit? I'd love to answer any questions that you have. Are we doing that? Are we out in front of the consumer right now, or are we just waiting for the deadline to come up? You know, are you thinking about buyer seminars, listing seller seminars based on the new rules that are coming into effect? Get ahead of the game, guys. This is prospecting based, creating that database because it becomes a data bank. Once you build your database by prospecting, prospect till you don't have to prospect anymore. Lead generate till you don't have to lead generate anymore. Once you build that database and you got some touches in place, that's still part of your marketing enhanced part of it. You will consume a bunch of business from that. You got to build it. You got to build it. 1 hour a day of lead generation. This was interesting to me when I seen this. 1 hour a day of lead generation is just survival. You're just surviving. That's it. 2 hours a day, you're growing. You're not growing to your full potential, but you're growing. 3 hours a day is when you have massive breakthroughs. See, some people are afraid of breakthroughs because there's so much chaos to get the breakthrough. And then there's so much leverage that you need that you think you can do it all on your own, but you can't. Your time is worth a ton of money. Your time is worth a lot of money. So 220 days a year. And 220 days a year is the average work days in a year. So 1 hour a day, 2 hours a day, 3 hours a day. It's your choice. Are you just surviving? If you are, look at your lead generation time. It's either 0 to 1 hour. Sorry, Chris, there you go, if you need to get it. And you guys will have access to all these. So 3 hours a day is your massive breakthrough. Very few people I know do 3 hours a day. I know quite a few that do 2 hours a day, and I know even more that do one, and I know many, many more that don't do any. So when you're struggling, ask yourself, am I doing at least an hour a day of lead generation? If you're not, try that before you quit. Just try it. You never know what will happen. Your standard for energy is key for this year. Your energy is going to be contagious to everyone around you. Your energy is going to be the success of your 2024. Are you carrying negative energy? Are you carrying just poor energy? You better get up, get dressed, and get moving every day. Because if not, that energy is just a drainer, and it's going to create more complacency, laziness, procrastination, all those different things. So all your mistakes are made because of a lack of energy. All the mistakes that we make are because of lack of energy. I go back to that video, the death crawl again, with facing the Giants, when the captain of the team said, "Hey, coach, we're going to get our butts whooped in the game." And then the coach did a demonstration of, how far he can really go by doing that crawl with that other player on his back. And he created positive energy after that. And if you ever seen the movie, they go on and win the game, and they were the underdogs. All your mistakes are made because of lack of energy. You got to make sure that you have whatever it takes to pick that back up. They are strategic and 3 to 4 key lead generation sources. Now, if you have a team, you should have more than 3 lead sources, which is either buy-in leads or a VA or ISA, inside sales assistant, making calls or whatever it may be. So find those 1 or 2 things or 3 things that's going to help you. If you don't want to make for sale by owner calls or expired calls, do door knocking. Do open houses every day, 4 or 5 days a week. See, model homes. So let's say you have a listing in a model home community that's still building. Dude, that's the best opportunity to capture a ton of buyers and great leads, right? And then build that database. That's a strategic key lead generation source. Open houses, do them in an area where you're going to get a ton of activity. Gated communities are tough. Condos are tough. Find a home that's going to create a lot of activity. Don't look for a $2 million home. Look for a $500,000 home. Look for a $400,000 home. Those are the ones that are flying off the shelf right now. Anything under 500,000 is selling super fast. Super fast. Anything between 500 and 800,000 is sitting a lot longer. $1 million homes are selling okay. So find your lead generation source. Stop making this so complicated. Stop trying to figure out a way to become the best lead generation source. Just get out there and do something. And if you're going to do a mail out, make sure you make a 12-month commitment, because if not, it's just a waste of time and a waste of money. Your key number 3, past clients and spheres for referrals. Guys, if you look at your business over the last 2 years, 3 years, if you just wrote it all down, I guarantee that 75% of your business is probably coming from past clients, sphere, or referrals. And then if you do open houses, it might be a little bit higher ratio. Online leads, by the way, online leads are only 10 to 15% of a team's business. Past clients, sphere of influence, and prospecting is usually 70 to 75% of the business. So look at that. And if you're getting all your business, if all your business came from past clients and sphere of influence in the last 2 to 3 years, why aren't you using your past clients and your sphere of influence for new business? If you're afraid to make the calls to your past clients, guys, that's wrong. Call them. Call them. Just have a conversation. Hey, hey, Chris, Tom Martin, I sold you that home on so and such a street 2 years ago. I just want to call and congratulate you on building so much equity in the last 2 years in your home. Would you like an equity report on your home? Yeah, fantastic. Can I get it? Is this still the same email? All right, fantastic. Is there anyone else out there, Chris, that you know that I should be reaching out to provide my services like I did with you? No? Okay, fantastic. All right, let me go ahead and send that report to you. It's just a conversation, guys. Don't overcomplicate it. They track and monitor everything that they expect to improve on. See, if you don't track how many appointments you go on to understand your conversion, you'll never know what you need to work on. See, if you go on a lot of appointments and you don't get the business, you're not asking for the business. That's the bottom line. What's stopping you from hiring me today is the last question you want to ask them before you even walk out of the door. Remember the TV show Columbo? You know, when he was, he was a private investigator or an investigator or whatever he was. And before he would leave the room with the suspect, he'd go, oh, one more question. And that's where he'd get him. Think about that. One more question. What's stopping you from hiring me today? And then dissect that. Dissect that. Oh, so if we were able to get that taken care of, you'd hire me today. Yeah, okay, fantastic. Well, I'm interviewing Matt. Oh, fantastic. Matt's a great agent. Why don't you go ahead and sign now so I don't have to come back again? Or I can call Matt and let him know that you just hired me in case he's got a buyer. Stop walking out of the rooms without asking for the business. That is probably the number one reason agents are losing buyers and sellers. They're not asking for the business. They're assuming the customer is going to work with them, and that just doesn't happen. Anything that you track and measure will always improve. So if you go, if you talk to 10 people a day, so you talk to 50 people a week without any appointments, then we got to look at your scripts and dialogue. What are you saying? What are you not saying? If you make 0 calls, you'll have 0 appointments. If you make 0 calls, you'll have 0 contacts. See, everything starts with making contacts. The more contacts you make, the more appointments you go on, the more contracts you write, the more closings you have, period. That's just, that's the nature of our business. That's the nature of sales. That's the nature of growing a business. Anybody in business, whether they have a plumbing company, electrical company, handyman company, they got to make contacts. They need to meet people, roofers, handyman, whoever it is. They execute quickly and take action immediately. I'd rather have someone on my team and by my side that's willing to make a crap ton of mistakes and not be Mr. Perfect when they go out there for a presentation. See, the more you try to perfect something without actually taking action, the more opportunities you miss out on. Take action quickly. You're gonna mess up. You're gonna fail. I don't care how much experience you have. There's times where you just say the wrong things and go, why did I just say that? Take action quickly and take it immediately. Nothing wrong with taking action quickly. See, those of us who are really cautious, we want to be knowledgeable of every aspect before we get out there. And then you got someone who is just acting quickly and they go on all these appointments and they get all this opportunity. Take action quickly. Turning failures into success. How am I responsible? What did I do? Not do to create the situation? What is the lesson in the failure? How will I adjust my approach so that this never happens again? That's with our scripts too, when we're making our calls. How am I responsible for the reaction I got? What did I do? What did I not do? What's the lesson that it can learn so I don't fail again? See, what is it? If we're not failing, we're not learning. Fail forward. Fail forward. And John Maxwell talks about that all the time. Fail forward. They have a plan and they follow it daily. Stop writing business plans and throwing them away. Why are you even wasting your time going to a business planning class if you don't put the material to action? It's the biggest thing. Guys, so many people write out a plan and they don't execute it, or they don't look at it. They have a plan and they follow it daily. Everything's a plan daily. If you're a parent, you have to follow the plan every day. You got to take the kids to school. You got to pick them up from school. You got to feed them. There's an automatic plan in place for that. If you don't take them to school, they don't learn. You don't feed them, they starve. It's the same thing with our business. If we don't get up and get to the office, we're not going to have a business. So feed your business, get up, show up, and get dressed up and show up. They have a plan and they follow it. And here's where it is. Get up, get dressed, and get your butt in the office every day. Whether it's your home office or whether it's an office, get up and get out there. Because the more you get up and show up, even on the days you don't want to, and you end up doing it, you go, holy cow, I've accomplished so much today. Create and adhere to a strict AM schedule. This is where all the magic happens, guys. Your lead generation time, your preparation for lead generation, all for your afternoon. Your morning should all be around preparing for your day and your lead generation. Mornings are not made for appointments. 1 o'clock to 2 o'clock should be your lead follow-up. 2 o'clock on should be your appointments. I mean, there's some exceptions that are going to be made. I get it. But create and adhere to a strict AM schedule. It doesn't have to be 6 a.m. I get up every morning at 5:15-ish. I have the same regimen every single day. Every day, the same thing. Boring. But here's what happens. The subconscious mind works and it just do it. They only associate and partner with and hire other winners and believers and badasses. Here's the thing. If you're looking for growth and you ask someone who is not growing, but trying to tell you how to grow, or you're getting information from someone who's not succeeded in what you're looking to achieve, if you're getting information from someone who tells you how to do it and doesn't do it themselves, that's wrong. Associate yourself with the people who are winning. Associate yourself with the people who are succeeding. Take that information from the people who are winning and have a track record of success. Too many frauds out there, guys. I seen someone put out there who said he's a coach in real estate. And by the way, he's not a full-time realtor. Matter of fact, he's got a full-time job from 9 to 5 as an IT guy. And here's what he said. Make your 50 calls a day and you'll be successful. This is how I do it. And it's bullshit. He doesn't. Complete, and I'll call his name out and get him on a call too. He's a fraud. He never freaking succeeded in this level. And he's got people the perception that he's great until they get to know him. And then what happens is they're falling behind. They fell so far behind trusting someone that never succeeded. Hey, dad. Hey, son, what the hell you doing drinking and driving? Well, dad, I got it from you. You do it. Right? Bad habits are showing up from the people around you. Leading by example is key. So take information that's going to help you grow from the people that are winning and succeeding. And if you're engaged in a conversation with someone that says they're great, ask them, tell me, what have you succeeded in? And if someone's giving you information on how to succeed and your production's way higher than theirs, you don't listen to them. Why would you? George sold nearly 1,000 homes a year. George caught the market as everything was correct and right on time. I was standing right beside George with his coach, Kurt, redheaded guy. And I'll never forget him because I use this as an example all the time. He said to me in August of 2006, Tom, what are you doing to prepare for the banking crisis that's getting ready to happen? I said, you're out of your mind. My business is thriving. I'm having the best year ever. He goes, well, you won't have that next year. I went from, I think the net following year, I did less than 3 million in sales. I was drowning because I wasn't following the people that were getting all the right information, that were more knowledgeable of what was really happening. I was blinded by what I was actually doing that was working. And by the way, the very next year, that's when I had like 40 listings that never sold. And someone like George ended up getting those listings because they went into REO. That's what happened. Guys, take advice from people who are winning. Take advice from people who are succeeding. Stop taking advice from people that say they're great and they're not. It's a bunch of fraud. And if you want this presentation, I'll give it to you. So let me get to it. Let me get to it real quick. And you can actually download it through this QR code. Oh, there it is. There it is. So scan your phone over it, get it. Now we're open up for Q&A. I think I did a lot of talking on here, guys. I want some interaction from you guys. Let's see. Yeah, it is being recorded. Arnold did everything he wanted. The only thing he left is become president. Yeah. All right, guys, this is your
Hey
time.
Tom, I got a question.
Yeah.
So this is something you've been coaching and mentoring me through for the last month with one of the potential listings. And I had another one yesterday that is a potential that is the exact situation you just brought up, actually. Like they're already like I actually went to pick up a deep freezer for the garage and they were doing a bunch of renovation. And I'm like, oh, you guys getting your house ready for a sale? And they're like, yeah, actually we're gonna sell it this summer. Military family, so on and so forth. So I started talking to them about who they're going to hire. And they said, this lady in the area, and I saw all her signs and her billboards and everything coming in. They're like, she's the best in the area. She does everything around here like this. I think she, um, interviewing and, figuring out, is it a listing we even want to take? Because, they're talking about listing it at 800,000. It's a 4.5 acre lot, places for horses, et cetera, et cetera. And then, but, it's the middle of nowhere and I think they want too much and the house is kind of in shambles. Like they're trying to kind of half-ass renovate it. So how do you, God, what's the word I'm looking for? Anyway, how do you, interview and kind of rule out whether or not it's the right listing for you.
You know what, guys, listen, the right listing for anyone is the one that you're willing to work with, right? And you know, what Matt's talking about there is there's so much opportunity out there that we're missing if we're not asking, if we're not engaging in a conversation, you know? So I highly recommend that you start engaging with everyone that you know. Everyone. Everyone. Anyone have anything? Ahas? Um, by the way, Matt, was that the one that was crossing through everything and everything else, or is that the one that was going to list what a company called 72 sold?
No, so this is actually a third company, or a third listing. So I have the one with 72 sold. That one's active. It's surprisingly, it's really slow right now. We've only had 2 showings in 19 days on market. And it's downtown St. Augustine, turnkey property. You know, stuff just isn't moving down there right now, but I think within the next 2 to 3 weeks it will, as people are graduating college. And you know, I can't do any open houses or anything right now because it still has the daughter,
Yeah.
they're going to college, so they're still living in it. They don't want to do any open houses until they're out of it. But the one that's crossing through everything, I'm still battling with that lady. Every time I send the contract back to her exactly how she wants, she goes through and lines out new shit and changes stuff up. And I'm like, so that one I'm still really apprehensive on taking, just because I think it's going to be the same way when we receive offers. I don't think she's ever going to accept a contract. You know what I mean?
Right.
At least, and the contract price is the price that she wants to list is probably 25 to 50 grand over value, you know? But it's less than a mile to the beach on the beach side of the major highway, and it's a strong rental potential. So that's the only reason I'm holding on to that one. So this one is literally, I just went to pick up a deep freezer from these people off Amazon Marketplace because we have a herd of kids and, you know, having to freeze all the food up. So this is one that, you know, I started the conversation yesterday. I didn't want to push it, but I just fed them a whole bunch of information when I was there. And they were like, oh, you do renovations? Well, what do you think about this? And should we open up this wall? And what would you do to make this show better for curb appeal, you know? And so I just followed up with them afterwards and just said, you know, if you guys have any more questions about, you know, renovation recommendations, staging your house for sale, or, you know, just general real estate questions, here's my, because I had only talked to them through Amazon or Facebook Marketplace. I said, here's my cell phone number. Please don't hesitate to reach out. Please give it to your husband so he can reach out because he was a veteran. You know, and just like open that door knowing that they're going to list probably late summer. But they said they want to be really aggressive. They want to move it because they inherited his mom's house. So, you know, the will to sell is there. So what I think I'm going to do is I asked them if they'd sign a listing agreement yet. They said no, they just been talking to her. So that's on her for not doing a listing agreement.
Yeah.
But I'm going to go ahead and put together a comp report and be like, hey guys, here's what I think your house is worth right now. Here's what I think your upgrades are going to add to it. And this would be my recommending listing price. If you haven't signed a contract with Lisa, I would love to represent you. And if it doesn't work out, you can always fire me and go back to her, you know? So.
Hey, and here's the thing, guys, know your competition, because one of the things that Matt and I talked about was 72 sold, and I knew what the company was. And what they do is they guarantee the sale within 72 hours. And here's what I've told people is if they can guarantee the sale in 72 hours, give them a 3-day listing. And here's what they say. No, we're not going to do a 3-day listing. It has to be 3 to 6 months. So, well, you said it's 72 hours sold. So I'll give you the listing for 3 days based on what you say you can promise. And if you don't get it under contract in that time, you basically lied to me. And so set them up for failure, because that's what their company is. that, you know, they call it 72 sold because they'll sell it within 72 hours, and they're not doing it. And they're not moving forward with a 72-hour listing agreement. So therefore, they're not fulfilling what their company says.
Yeah, and ultimately what that company did was, you know, the guy who was pushing it, it's two partners out of Arizona. So, you know, apparently property's selling really fast out in Arizona. So that's a battle with them because, you know, we're 18 days in. They're like, why aren't we getting more showings, so on and so forth. I just told them, like, right now it's a buyer's market. Like, our inventory is ridiculous. Like, we have 6.5 months of inventory right now. And so, you know, I said for every 43 houses that are selling per month, we have 257 coming on the market. And so, you know, it's inundated. And I said, and price wise, you guys are at the top of the market for that house. So I said, I highly recommend, if we don't have offers by the 30-day timeline, that we look at reducing the price. And what ended up having them, so I actually lost that one too, that 72 sold. Just kept touching base with them, seeing how it was going, as you advised me to. Told them to review the contract, and sure enough, once they reviewed the contract, one of the stipulations that company puts in is once they put it on the market, you owe them the commission. Like, it doesn't matter if it sells, if it cancels, if they terminate, doesn't matter. You owe them a commission. And so as soon as they saw that, they were like, oh, hell no. And they called me right back. The other partner who didn't want to go with that company sent me an email, said, hey, Matt, it's not going to work out with this company. We'd like you to list the house. I had to take a lower percentage because that's what that company was offering, but it's still a listing. It's, you know, 465 is what we have it listed at. So, you know, they only wanted to do 4%, but they were like, if you want to do 3% and you want to give the buyer 1%, that's completely up to you and how you do it. They said, but we don't want to pay more than 4%. So, but I also told them that that's one of the reasons that we're not getting as much attention, because with the reduction in sales comes agents looking for the highest price. And that's one of the reasons that the advertised commissions are going away, is because it keeps agents honest, you know?
Yeah.
So a lot of learning opportunities with this one, and abilities to teach as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
Absolutely. Anyone else?
All right, brother, I got to jump off. Hey, everybody have a great week. Happy, was it hump day or Thursday? Hey, we're past hump day. Look at that. Happy Thursday.
See you, brother.
Later, my man.
1, 2, 3. Come on. Got 8 minutes, guys. Anyone else there having success with their morning ritual of lead generation on a consistent basis? Anyone being challenged to have a regimen on that? Oh, completely silent. All right. Is there anything I could do to help any of you today, or are we done? George?
Multitasking.
That's
Well,
okay.
you know what? But there is one thing I want to add. You brought this up when we were talking about in 2006 and then jumping into the REOs. REOs aren't coming back. We have way too much equity. What we have right now is we've got some people, in my opinion, and again, this is, I'm going to go with an example of, please follow somebody who's actually seen this and watches it. I know you agree with this as well, Tom. We've got a lot of people who are a little freaked out, and this is the time to create those relationships. It's not a matter of if they're going to sell or buy. The answer is definitively yes. How are you prospecting 3 hours a day to get an unfair share of what is less activity? Matt just brought that up too. And putting yourself in a position that, at the risk of honking my own horn, I did with Tom's reference to the next year I ended up selling a ton of homes. That's you. Forget the REOs, because that's not the option. But what about putting yourself as an expert in position in front of people, doing the 3 hours of prospecting that is absolutely required right now, this time? We have to work 3 times as hard for almost 3/4 as much as we used to. Welcome to how real estate should be. This is going to weed out the people that won't do it. Put yourself in the position to have a huge transition of power and of success. It is coming. It is coming in September. It is coming where right now everybody's like, no, I can't do it. The truth is 6.5% is not a high rate. And that's FHA, VA is 6.5 right now. Right. And you can buy it down. This is not an issue. The biggest challenge with purchasing is affordability. Can I afford the mortgage? There is so much pent up demand out there, but people are afraid. I get that. Be the guide, be the expert. Part of your prospecting should be educating the people within your sphere of influence, the people that you know. I think that this is a massive opportunity where I'm multitasking. I'm working on our next strategy to take an unfair share of the market because I want to make sure that I'm the go-to person. And you should do the same too, because I promise you, we're not talking to the same people. My friends are not your friends. We're in different parts of the country at all intents and purposes. So it's scary for us too, really scary, but it's also an opportunity and it depends on you. And we believe in you more than you do because we've seen this exact thing happen before. Tom and I lived through this. He freaked himself out, or I know this. He was in a state of, oh, good heavens. And he said, I'm just going to do the hard work. He is literally a proven through fire expert at what it takes. Please, for your family, for you, listen to it. And don't forget, we're standing here with you. We believe in you. We can't do it for you, but I guarantee you we're going to stand beside you and we're going to support you. And you can do this. You can blow people out of the water. Okay. I'm nobody special. We just had the keys to the kingdom put in front of us by knowing what's coming. Tom has done the same thing for you. Please take advantage of that. By the way, 2 o'clock today, Leo Perea, our CEO for our brokerage, for most all of y'all's brokerage as well, will be going through the NAR settlements. Strongly advise you get that on that. You received the email from it 2 days ago. I think the link's in here. If not,
Or it's 3 o'clock.
Is it 3 o'clock, Tom? Thank you.
Yeah, it's 3 o'clock. And by the way, it's in your email from Leo. It'll look like this. Join us Thursday, and here's the thing. And there's a link right here that will connect you right to YouTube. So it'll be on live on YouTube.
You got this, guys. This is important. And I'm actually going to drop the link in because
I was just going to say, if you drop that in.
I will. I just saved it. I had it saved previously. Look at that. I actually was ahead of myself. It's in the chat for you as well, but you also have the email. The important thing here is please be on there, be as knowledgeable as possible. And I am going to stop the recording for the live stream. Tom, thank you for everything. As always, you're awesome. I remember that talking to Kirk and you and I both going, holy crap. And it happened, didn't it?
Oh my gosh, man. I'll tell you what, I still listen, he can walk by me and I'll recognize who he is, a tall redheaded guy. And I'll never forget because I think I did 18 million that year. And then the year after that, 3 million.
Yep.
And by the way, that 3 million I did was in January, all of it. I did nothing from February through the end of the year because nothing. I had 30 to 40 listings that were just sitting there because you couldn't sell them because they were short. They would have been short sales. And by that time, nobody knew how to sell a property that the person owed more than what was, the house was worth. We had to figure out.
That's not the issue here. And we don't have this massive fraud. We've got, unfortunately, we've got inflationary issues that are a challenge. And until we get that under control, we're going to see, although they're not perfectly tied, we're going to see that that's an issue. So y'all get this. Our interest rates will adjust down. They will get into the high fives. I thought it was going to be last fall or winter in early spring, and I was wrong on that one, which is a shame. But it is going to happen. There isn't fraud. There isn't short sales. There are buyers and sellers who want to buy and sell. We will have a flood of business. Those who have put in the hard work and have become the experts, and I now qualify to be able to coach people on this, meaning with y'all, I'm having this conversation, whoever is going to be in front of their database, who's going to do the hard work, is going to receive a windfall similar to the type of windfall I received, but there's no special skills needed except being a great real estate professional and helping your clients and stay in contact. The 3 hours a day is non-negotiable for success through what will be the winter of real estate over the next 5 to 6 months. And then it's spring at the complete wrong time of the year. But I promise you, you're going to see activities somewhere in November, December, and next year. Hang on. There is so much pent-up demand. It is coming. Tom, do you agree with that?
100%, 100%. You know, the teams and the agents who are thriving right now are the ones that are prospecting based. They're out there, they're making contacts, they're out there calling the for sale buyers, they're calling the expireds, they're door knocking, they're doing the open houses, they're contacting their database, they're doing all the activities, and they're doing it more than they did in the past. You know, you got to work probably twice as hard to earn the same amount of money. You know, when I heard that 2 years ago, I thought, no way, there's no way. But I do believe it now. I do believe it now. So you owe it to yourself. And by the way, you owe it to the consumer to constantly reach out to them. They'd rather work with you than someone else. And believe that. So when you're meeting with someone, this customer needs to work with me because I care and I'm going to serve them. And then I'm going to reap the rewards financially when we sell it. There you go. All right.
Thanks, Tom. Tomorrow, great call tomorrow. Wanda Purdy, we're going to go through her for the first 3 years in her real estate career, from 7 sales as a full-time corporate person, and worked on weekends and in evenings. 7 sales next year, 24, third year, 25. She will be an icon agent. She is got the freedom she's looking for, and she put in the hard work, and she is incredible. She's going to be being interviewed tomorrow, and so y'all tune in tomorrow. You want to know what she did and how she did it, because she's proven success and she's incredible. See y'all tomorrow.
See ya. All right. Have a great day.
You too, guys. Bye now.